I'm Dominic, and these are going to be the accessories for the Sony FX2. So this camera right now, position-wise, is basically a step down from your FX3, but a step up still from your FX30. Now, it's very similar in design, but there's some added features that they did to the camera that makes it so that the FX3 cage does not work on the FX2. So we came up with a new version of this. To start off, one of the big things that they did as a change is they actually have a movable eyepiece on this. The FX3 does not have that eyepiece at all. So this is a new feature that we had to kind of work around on that whole system. The ergonomics of the grip are a little bit different, and then the connector placements on the sides are a little different. So because of that, we've actually had to make some changes. Oh, and a nice other feature, they actually added dual mounting screws on the bottom instead of the single one, which is common on most mirrorless style cameras like this. To start off with, we're going to go with the L cage. This is the most simplest form of the cage that you can get for this camera. This is going to allow different types of plates that you can mount to the bottom of this for mounting the camera to different setups. It gives you some mounting points over on the side of it, so a 3/8 and 1/4 with the airy anti-twist pin hole sets. We actually have a cable clamp for the HDMI, and then on the very top we actually have a 1/4 as well that allows for the anti-twist pins as well, so you can mount multiple different types of accessories in given areas on a very simplified cage. So with this is very simple. This just literally slides right on. And then there's two screws at the bottom. I'm just using a 3/16 Allen key and tightening up these 1/4 on the bottom. Now you have the L cage actually attached to this. On the side here, you can actually see the cable clamp. It's actually kind of a wraparound. So you have a clamp for the connector here. On the back side, there's actually what's called a set screw. So on connectors that are very thin, you can actually use that set screw to push up to the back side of the connector. So when you tighten this down, you're not just bending it in one location or another. This actually clamps it evenly on both sides. Even though it's a wraparound cage, you can still get your finger in there and open up the door in order to get to the HDMI port. The other ports are still available on the side, which gives you the USB-C, can be used for power input. And then you also have Sony's multi connector, which comes out to a wide connector that's used for other types of accessories. And then you actually have your mic and earphone jack right there, all still accessible. This, if you wanted to work with this, you can actually work with this cage and you can mount accessories to it. If you were trying to mount things like your little screw-in bubble levels, you can actually attach that right to the cage. It's just a nice little simple spot for it. And then cold shoe attachments. Other manufacturers will actually hard mount cold shoes in different locations, but then they're in that fixed position and you can't move it if your build needs to be something different. This cold shoe happens to be a 3/8/16 version, and it can actually just attach to the 3/8/16 on the side. Then you can actually add audio or handles or whatever accessories that you're mounting to your cold shoe attachment. The next step is the right grip. And the main purpose of this is really to add a couple more mounting points on the side of the gauge. If you wanted to add your microphone to the other side, or if you wanted to mount a different accessory over there, that's what you would use, is something like this. So this is actually going to sit here. I actually put the screw over in the 1/4 as the storage location. So I'm just going to put that 1/4 inside there. And then there are two little 2.5mm screws and go inside the battery compartment area. So this little 2.5mm is a 3mm Allen, which would be included in the kit as an Allen key. So now you have a full cage on this camera right now. Now, again, it's cut out so that if I wanted to, I can still operate this camera normally. The grip doesn't get in the way. It actually adds a little bit more girth. Well, for people with big hands like me, that's actually welcome. If you have smaller hands, you'll still find that there's some comfort level to this. The cage is cut in certain ways that allows you to still open up your doors so you can still access your media, and your battery door is still, you still can open that up and access your battery and remove that when you need to. The next part is actually a top plate. Now this can be used also as a standalone item, just like the L cage can be. This is just a way that you can mount other accessories to the top of the camera, like carry handles. So if you're not doing expanded audio input through the USB-C connection, or you're not using the big Sony handle, you can use this, which gives you a couple more 1/4-20 mounts, a 3/8 mount, and then 2 1/4-20 mounts up on the front. Those 1/4-20 mounts up front can allow you to use like bolt-on rods. So if you actually wanted to, you can actually bolt on rods here, so you can actually control lens mode or put lens motors on there if that's the direction you're going. For the top, we can actually do a carry handle, and the carry handle that comes with the kit screws in, and now you have a real kind of small, lightweight run and gun system. Now, if you're going to use the eyepiece, you can actually rotate the handle to the other side and just rotate it. And now I still have functions with my viewfinder, and I'm not in the way of the carry handle. And if I have a lens on there, it's going to be front heavy, and I'm going to want the handle going forward anyways. The last thing that we can do is, I'm going to take off this handle so I can flip this camera upside down, is we actually have a base plate system here. With this, we have the ARCA dovetail. And this ARCA plate actually is a 2-piece design. The bottom ARCA plate is removable. So like I have one here that's separated, so I can separate the 2 pieces from each other. Now this is important because if I'm using some Manfrotto heads, you can actually mount the camera sideways into those types of heads. And this literally attaches to the bottom of the cage, and it gives you that sideways dovetail that you can then slide onto that. That's included when you get this. In this case, we're going to do it more of a cinema style. So I'm actually going to attach this directly to the bottom. This ARCA plate is adjustable back and forth on this, and that's important for this little circle here. When you buy a E to PL or E to LPL mount adapters, a rod would screw up through there and screw into the bottom of the lens mount adapter. So now that we have that attached, we have our mirrorless camera base plate on here. This allows me now to slide this on. It's on a safety system, so once you get past a certain point, it won't fall off, and you have a lock ring on the other side. You now have a studio setup here. So this will work on the wooden camera safety dovetail. So if I just take this plate out, this will slide onto the wooden camera safety dovetail or any other airy base style dovetail. This plate here can actually attach to bridge plates. So if you're running 19mm rods, you're doing a full studio setup, all the big giant matte boxes and filters and all that, you'd mount this on another base, or what's called a bridge plate. So you do 19mm, you got matte boxes, so you actually have all of that adaptation. Rods actually attached to these. Last but not least, you have the ability of mounting battery plates to this. And with these battery plates, you can actually P-tap to dummy battery power so that you can actually run power through larger batteries. So now you actually have a full base system that you can adapt around. You can build up or break down depending on how big or how light you want to make this camera. This is the FX2 accessory system.